Did you see that? Yeah, I'll explain after this.
Todd Hines, epic March Train videos. The Minneapolis Northern lives again. Those March trains are heading down the line. See them cross the bridge and rounding the bend. See them cross the bridge and rounding the bend.
Yeah, it's a pre-war Lionel. But don't worry, I'm not switching over to Lionel. I'm still a Marx guy. I just like the locomotive, and size-wise it goes good with my scale cars. Anyway, welcome to the 4th layout update video. Before we continue with this layout update video, I want to make some corrections to the YouTube video entitled My Train Addiction Story. I totally messed up on the configuration of the layouts. I was told by my brother that I was totally wrong. The first layout we had, I said was in an L shape, but it was actually in the offset 4x16 configuration. Our second layout, which I said was also L shape, I was totally wrong again. It was 2 feet around the room, except for a 4x4 section that contained a turntable. So with that, we'll continue. Well, I haven't made a lot of changes to the layout, but that's basically due to the fact that it's summer. But I've recently been doing some work on the layout. Here, I put a driveway in for Tony's shop. I put paint down, and I covered it with N-scale ballast to look like gravel. I think he's pleased with it, although he keeps standing on his porch in front of his shop watching trains. I wish he'd get to work. There haven't been much changes to the depot since the last update video. In fact, there hasn't been any changes to the depot since the last one. But I finally decided what I'm going to do. I have to shingle the depot, and then I'm going to finish the platform. I'm going to cover this with plaster, sand it smooth, and do like a rock in the front and concrete behind it. I saw a video of a real depot like that. As you can see, I'm working on the hill. I've made a little bit of progress on that. I'm starting to build the top. I've built up the side and with the foam and started plastering it. Later in this video, I will be showing you how I plaster it and how I carve the stone. But you see the space next to it. I'm waiting to buy some more 2-inch foam to finish the rest of the hill off. So it'll be a little while before I get the hill done. Not much has changed at the Bianchi house, except for you see that pile in the back. That's going to be the chicken coop. Yes, Diane wants a chicken coop. So we'll be building that soon. Now to show you how I do the mountains. As you can see, I use pink styrofoam as a base. I glued this on so it angles up. And now I'm going to plaster this section. It's just like frosting a cake. Put it on and spread it around. Oh, and there are, in a real limestone bluff, there are cracks that run up and down. Don't worry if it's not perfect right now. I know I'll be adding another layer to it. So that's adding the plaster. What I use for plaster is joint compound. It takes a few days to dry, but that's alright. Next, I'll show you how I make the rock. My layout is based in southern Minnesota, where there's a lot of limestone bluffs. I'm going to show you how I carve in the limestone rock detail. But before I do, here's a few photographs I took that I use as a guide for doing this. Alright, now we'll start. If you notice from the pictures, a little ways from the top, the limestone is all broken up. That's because of the thawing, freezing action of the ground, I believe. So what I do is I take a utility knife, and that's all I use, and make a line. It doesn't have to be straight, because they really aren't perfectly straight. And then I just start going like this. Crossways, at angles, up and down. pretty good. You notice there's foam showing there. That's because my plaster's not thick enough. I might end up replastering this. And then when I do, after that, I start making thicker sections of limestone. And they have to match. Like on this side and this side, they have to be at the same place. They don't have to end up in the same place, but they have to start in the same place. So, and then the bottom of a large crack, I angle. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to add some plaster to this. I'm going to have to match this here. This is too thin. But you notice as I cut, there's stuff that drops to the bottom. Stuff drops to the bottom. I leave that. I pull the pieces of foam out, but I leave that. So if you drive along the bluff country in Minnesota or Iowa, you'll notice there's a bunch of broken up rock at the base of the bluff, the road cut. So that's what I'm portraying here. Because the building is going to go here, I'm going to keep it over there more. But that's a natural thing that occurs. So I'll leave that there. And I'll show you how I stain them in another video. Don't make them all the same size. And there is converging ones also, like I have here. Converges. But they are pretty thick layers down there. Anyway, you get the idea. You notice a crack here. I just carve out that crack. Another crack here. So you get the idea. And then when I'm satisfied with the cracks, then I take a wire brush and I brush the surface. These are the wire brushes I use. And I just rub it on the surface. Now this is sticking out. I don't really like it, and it's not being affected by the brush. I'll take my utility knife and just cut it away. And as you can see, it leaves a texture on the plaster. It makes it more realistic looking. If you look at the limestone, it's not perfectly smooth on the faces in between the cracks. You get the idea. That's how I do it. I'm going to have to add more plaster here because it's not thick enough. I know it was a pretty short update video. Just don't get much done during the summer, on the layout that is. There's no sense spending all your time downstairs working on the layout when it's so nice outside, or making videos for that matter. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a like. And comments. I like your comments. As long as you keep them nice. So, until next time, thank you for joining me.
Todd Hines, epic March Train videos. The Minneapolis Northern lives again. Those March trains are heading down the line. See them cross the bridge and rounding the bend. See them cross the bridge and rounding the bend.